Everybody.
Hey.
Feel free to make noise and clap and all that hilarious shit, cause it's cool. I know I'm gonna make weird noises and shit, cause I can't help it. That's what happens when you teach fucking second graders. You become weird shit. But we're gonna hop into the poems, and I'm gonna try not to say things that will embarrass my mother. I probably will. She'll probably never see it until my niece brings it up on YouTube, and then I'm not allowed home for dinner. When asking about my hometown, the word you're leading at is ghost. But we be more silhouette than that. Still alive, an outline of what once was, but breathing the same air as you regardless. When you say comeback, I think deforestation. What you mean to say is how my hometown is being rebuilt beautifully. What I mean to say is you have to destroy what was already here in order to rebuild. This more than abandoned structure, this abandoned people already here. And you have to destroy what was already here in order to rebuild. You ask how I could grow up here. I'll let you in on a secret. Age. Living things tend to do that. Eventually, during this process, we grow. Surprise, motherfucker. Rephrase the question. Ask, have I ever been shot? Multiple times. By my doctor. I mean, it is his fucking job. Rephrase again. Ask if I've ever been shot at. Yes, I do play video games after all. You see casinos. I see leeches. You see poverty. I see casinos built, taxes raised, schools shut down, whole city blocks leveled. You bring up old music like we ain't made shit since Motown left. I bring up recent movies. You act like you didn't know they were filmed here. You ask if we're ever happy here. And I wonder if you've ever paid attention to the people who are still alive, who have been here the whole time. No, I'm not trying to throw shade at you. You're just acting kind of like a bubble on a Scantron test, like a coloring book full of trees during high noon. I'm not trying to make you mad. I'm trying to help you understand what it feels like when all the conversations are about the future and none of them include you, despite the fact that you've been here the whole time, treated like a population of invisible men. It's all the golden age and a time to come. The good old days and what this city can be. And my hometown isn't the only place being treated like this. I ask if you understand what it feels like to be a living outline of something that once was, something people keep looking for, to be a silhouette, unseen, treated as if no one is even there. So apparently I'm delicious, and I'm gonna try to not slap all the gnats in the face at this point in time. But so I teach poetry to youth back in Detroit, and it's really awkward because they're all like as big as this building, and I'm like here. So like the first day of work, hey kids, we're gonna work on poems. It's like, aren't you a fucking freshman? And I'm like, fuck yeah. But, well, I can't say that in the classroom, but after school, it's like, fuck y'all. But this poem is dedicated to my students.
Oh, you're doing two of them?
I'm doing a lot of poems.
Okay.
He's got it.
It's cool. It's cool. Hella poems. I teach poetry as a means of survival to endangered species. My black students laugh wildly in the classroom, but when I ask them to write what mask they will wear, they grow silent as a forest nobody hears, wondering what change of face will help them live longer. My students write about their personal disappointments, about how they're a generation of premature martyrs, about how their skin is this weird hybrid camouflage, how nobody seems to notice them until they're dead. They know their lives are treated like fields of grass. Nobody says they see a problem with them being cut short. They're becoming the foundations of gardens. Black girls and boys being buried before blossoming, broken bodies bearing bullets burrowed beneath their bones. I know why they have trust issues instead of trust funds. Nobody is banking on their survival. They are not safe. I know what it feels like to be a generation drowning in silence. I know how it feels to be a generation disappearing when we are dying. My face is a mask. It fools my mirror, tells it I'm older, as if that means I'm a survivor. I own the man I am underneath, the one that hears the horrifying sound of endangered children falling like forests. I know how a shotgun on a porch could turn a young girl asking for help silent. I know how a pistol on a watchman could choke a young boy's sweet tooth on his own blood. I know our classroom is just a reservation. Outside, we're considered big game by people with guns who call us a threat. I teach my students everything I know in these poems, as if I'm not still on the run with them. It's awkward continuing to perform as a gnat tries to make love to your eyelashes. It's just like, I'm not delicious, I swear. So before I worked with high schoolers, I worked with second graders who are incredibly the most kind-hearted, nasty, stinky, smelly, sticky, wanting to hug you and love you so much, but make you want to shower when you go home people on the face of the earth. I love second graders from a distance because they pick their fucking boogers and they fart when they're sitting on their hands and shit. Then they want to hug you. It's like, but this poem is kind of dedicated to them. So I'm telling a friend of mine stories about my days teaching second graders. This one time I'm teaching a class about circles, using the planets as an example. As I asked the class a question, this one kid, William, starts staring all up in my shit like he wants to pounce or something. So I go over and ask him what the answer is. His lip quivers, but he doesn't say anything. So I'm standing there for like 2 or 3 minutes, waiting for him to speak, until he suddenly starts crying. And when I go over to console him, that's when he says, "Mr. O, I had to use the bathroom, and I couldn't hold it anymore." Because at this point in time, I realized I've been watching him piss himself for like 3 fucking minutes. It's awkward as fuck. He's laughing. Class is laughing. I tell my roommate this story, and after he's done laughing hysterically, he says I'd have to eternally be a 4th grader to be that clueless. If only it were that simple. If only my joy wasn't determined by children I have yet to father. My first love recently had her first child, and I wanted to say more than congratulations. To say her infant's eyes the greatest gift I've ever seen. To say I hope every morning is as good as grandma's breakfast on a Sunday. Her family is a growing flock of hallelujahs. Her family is an orbit I don't foresee breaking. A life between her and her husband spent like a heavenly dance twirling in a room full of stars. I wanted to say all of this, but I'm carrying too much of this lonely. Even Pluto, now divorced from its solar system of a family, still has a moon married to it. I'm cratered with envy and embarrassment. My imperfections, now grown, stare me dead in the face, scaring the piss out of me whenever I'm asked, how come you're not married? Or why don't you have any children? Or what are you waiting for? Maybe I am a child at heart, and I haven't figured out how to draw love in between the lines. And maybe fatherhood is a test I want to take, but I know I haven't studied enough yet. But I haven't failed either. And love is a blessing to be enjoyed on any day of the week. So I know when the time comes for me to create an orbit of my own, I'll be ready to do it right. So it's weird wanting to have kids and then not wanting to change diapers. I feel like every guy wants to do that shit. Like, yeah, I want to be a dad until there's shit in my hands. Oh my God. And then at that point, you start reflecting on every decision you've made in life. It's just like, you're so cute. Give you to someone else briefly. Kids are cool when you can borrow them. Nobody kidnapped children. I feel like I just endorsed kidnapping. Nobody kidnapped children. So, I'm going to do this poem despite the fact that I hate this poem. But I guess there needs to be poems like that. Who here has been in love? We can all raise hands. That's cool. Who here has had that totally shit on your life? Yes. So, I teach with another friend of mine back home. And like one day, I'm in there teaching the classroom, and he's like, I got it. You're like the Drake of Detroit poetry. All these relationships don't work out for you, but they're great fucking poems. And I'm like, why the fuck would you say that? In front of the students. Like, now I have no credibility at all. Did you do your homework? I don't know. Did you weep over your ex? Like, I'm like, I want to blow your shit in, but like, I can't. But yeah, so I shared this poem with the students because, I mean, if shit don't kill you, you can fucking write about it and get it out. So shout out to my ex that cheated on me with the homies. Tiffany wants me to write her a love poem. I can't. When she asks why not, I tell her it'd be easier to write you an atheist gospel because some things I don't believe in were related to you. You see, Tiffany evolves backwards, forever falling for the same traps, and now she wants me to be her man. She knows how I look at her. She thinks that's all it takes. What she doesn't realize is she shaped her body like glass sculptures, and I see through the shit. Her soul barely worth the fucking she exploits it for. See, no woman deserves to be called a bitch. I just hope she's not pregnant with puppies. It's a little mean. I tell her, in order for me to write about loving you, I need to see someone do it, and I've never seen you love yourself long enough for me to imitate it. Tiffany calls me bitter. Honestly, for us to work out, I would have to accept the leftover remnants of a lady. She wants me to dance, change my appearance, take on others' opinions for her. She wants me to be her moonwalker. But I was a skywalker the last time I cared for her. The last time I cared for her, I bent back beams of light to embrace her like Death Stars do planets until I couldn't breathe straight. I converted verbals vertically, made eyes rise in horizon size and illuminations blooming in a room with confident compliments. Complex connections are beyond her. She's entertained by emotions I've seen annihilate people. The last time I cared for her, I walked until my feet became shins. My shins became knees. My knees became hips. And I laid there, a broken man, offering a bouquet of my soul. But Tiffany doesn't understand. There are worse things than a woman scorned. The survivors of them. And that God is love. She is just the child of a lesser God. I try to write her something. If angels are human doves, you are the reason kamikaze birds dive. Explosives are connected to your love. Kissing you is like biting into wires still alive. And suicide bombers just need hugs that I'm not able to give. So please, just detonate. Nobody blow up your exes either. I will not be responsible for that shit. It is a metaphor. If I see that shit in the news, you never heard my fucking poem. And the funny thing is, she heard that poem at an open mic at home, and like I walked off stage, I'm like, I didn't know you were here. She's like, I didn't know I broke your heart that bad. It's like, I'm sorry, can we still be cool? From a distance. Fuck you and your new man. But so yeah, you know, that's that poem. Shit, I get really tired about doing poems about my exes, but I guess they all work out pretty well. Yeah, I'll jump into that poem later. Fuck that poem. I've had dinner with vegan zombies. Giving blood tests to vampires helped werewolves cut their own hair. I have the genetic code of a monster. My body is half water, half fire. One part typhoon, the other part volcano. I can melt a great lake from a man's face with one fist and erode an entire landscape in his chest with just a pair of words. I'm from the west side of nightmare and terror where we dream big enough to change the land. But some people would say I'm just another tar monkey. These are the same types of people that find it cool to call themselves Martians when they've never seen a war within a man or sat underneath 2 full moons at the same time. They know nothing of my mythology or my father's. If I'm anything like him, I'll destroy my family from the inside out like some sort of wicked legend. I'm watching my dad disintegrate, acting like a stranger in the house he built. There's no easy way to tell a man he treats beer bottles like shining suns and his sons like bottles easily recycled. I do love him. But honestly, he's the reason I learned how to hold a broken woman long before I learned how to kiss one. I know how this legend is supposed to go, with a confrontation and then a replacement. We may be family, but all of us creatures of the night are not created the same. His demons make him drink. Mine still away my sleep. He keeps the fire deep within his chest. I am quick to spew out glacial lava. My tongue can make a man burn and freeze at the same time. We live in a world where the color of our skin and the money we treasure matters more than the age in our bones or in our souls. I'm not trying to bite the hand that fed me. I'm trying to let it know I can feed myself. I don't have time to fight my father or his demons. Because if we're in the wrong location, there'd be a witch hunt for us both. So I guess I close out with two poems that are, I guess, semi-love poems. I don't know. My love poems don't end up with fairy tale endings for me, so I don't know what the fuck to call them. I'm just home with all these poems. Like, oh, this is cool, I guess. So, I made the mistake of falling in love with a poet once. None of y'all do that shit. Ever in life. Leave us to us. We will fuck up your life. You do not want those problems. You will go through shit, you will write poems that probably suck at first. Eventually they'll get better, but don't go through those emotional problems. Leave poets the fuck alone. Anyway, I fell in love with a poet once from somewhere other than where I'm from. And I cracked a joke like, hey, we should go see a movie while I'm in your town because I might go back home and die tomorrow. And that might be an insensitive joke, but I mean, it's totally what's real. But this poet was from Canada, so she's totally like, fuck do you mean? I don't get it. Like, everything's nice here. Everybody's polite as shit. Squirrels are fucking polite in Canada. Like, I don't... So I wrote a poem about it. I love you, but by the time this reaches your ears, it will already be too late. I'll be back within the mouth of a beast. You see, in my hometown, 2 men aged 16 to 25 are reported murdered each week. Which means men my age have asphalt graves dug by trucks made in the ghost factories of our homes. We are cracked futures, buried in abundance as if something is supposed to grow there. Our lovers forget our names like subtotal receipts. You see, after we fill up the garbage cans, we are heaped on top of one another like tables overflowing with the dishes of death's breakfast. I want your attention, but by the time this reaches your ears, I'll already be cursed in betrayal. I'm ripping down the wallpaper of my heart as we speak, dragging an axe on carpets where I once laid in love. I replace all the doors with windows. I become more open, but I'm letting less people in. My ventricles are wrecking balls. My arteries are arson art exhibits, little children. Watch in awe. But in my hometown, little boys and little girls have pistols for mouths. They have similar targets, and I'm slowly growing a red dot on my chest. There's an orange circle around that and a yellow halo around that, and every time I try to talk to them, I see their tongues twitching. I tell rooms full of strangers things I don't tell my closest friends. The very people I see an oasis in desert me. There are hyenas and vultures that have long been circling my failures, and I fear by the time this reaches your ears, I will disappear searching for you. You see, your attention is worth more to me, the attention of millions. I don't know the depth of the damage in your heart, but mine has been broken into small enough pieces across Detroit that it will fit in and it will fix it. I've been trying to repair my soul with a hammer for so long that I know how impossible it is. I have to face myself in the mirror, knowing I love bricks who think they are wrenches. They wreck more things than they repair. And if you told me to swallow gasoline to get that first kiss from the flamethrower of your lips, I would engulf every motor within my city. I am just a man with a woman's heart. There's a landmine between my neck and my navel, and all I want you to do is fall for me. But by the time this reaches your ears, I'll be back within the mouth of a beast that wants nothing to do with me. Its teeth will be stars. Its gums will drip comets. I'll suspend the sky above my head, just waiting for you to notice me. And the crazy thing about stars is it's really an image of something that died a long time ago. Like an egg broken and battered down into breakfast. Like a dying animal just watching the scavengers wait for a body to feed upon. Or like a victim of its surroundings, just waiting for someone, anyone, to show it love. So, before I do this last poem, I got CDs with me if y'all want to take some of this shit home with you. You could get one for only $10, and I have CDs that have both of my last 2 albums on it. You could get that for only $15. If you don't have cash, that's cool, because I got the credit card reader shit and all that happy shit. I don't know why I'm doing rap hands. I got Ricky Bobby syndrome. I don't know what to do with these. But I'll close out with this piece, because it's difficult as fuck and it's new. So you guys actually might be the first place to hear it. So shouts out to y'all. Meows and shit. And shit, like in feces. But, okay. This is why I can't say a lot in between poems, because I just get to saying really awkward shit. I have one poem I'm not sharing with y'all, because I've embarrassed my mother entirely too much. But it's about when I almost got drowned when I was baptized. And someone filmed this shit when I was performing it. And I'm like, talking about, yeah, you know, he's like, are you ready? And I'm like, no. And it's like, pfft, and I come up, and my mom's like, yes, Jesus. And I'm like, Mom, fucking die. Like, you almost gave me up for Christ. That voice, the whole purpose. It completely nulls and voids the whole purpose. Let's baptize your child by killing him. And you celebrate. Like, fuck. But I'm not sharing that poem because somebody filmed it and I didn't fucking know it. And then my niece brought it up on YouTube, and I'm like, fuck. So I have to go tell my mom, like, the world knows you almost let me die. She's like, it was not that bad. And I'm like, and she's like, okay, it might have been that bad. And so I have to show her the YouTube video now. And she's sitting there like, this is awkward. You have poems about me letting you die.
We can hide it.
I mean, she knows now, so fuck it, you know. I got another awkward poem. I'm totally, woo, glad I ain't got that shit memorized. But anyway. This shit has nothing to do with that. I don't even know how I got on that tangent. Okay. When she said she was on her way to the hospital, I should have left to join her, sir. The doctor wore disappointment as if it fit everyone in the room. I said I loved her. She said she loved her son. She loved me like chicken scratch. I loved her like hieroglyphs. We couldn't read each other. She thought relationships didn't require work. I told her she was a beautiful mountain range of plexiglass skyscrapers. She asked if I understood how much upkeep that took. I joked to make her laugh. But after the doctor left, she began insulting me, and I forgot how pain changes people, how these past few months her body had become a cocoon for our son that would never rise. After dinner, when the food wasn't good enough, she drank until she started an argument, calling me a liar, and I threw back every tale she ever told. Spewed out how I wondered if he was even mine. She pushed me away, like an atheist whose God rides a swing. Now, I'm worried some slick-tongued basilisk will love her conditionally, sliding away once given what he's wanted, and I'm haunted by that type of betrayal. Even now, I'm possessed. I reek of neglect. Look how I'm a corpse on the floor, waiting for her phone call. I know she only loves the dead. Thank you. Oh, the weird noises. Oh my God.
Hey. Poets, feel free to. Yeah, you guys are gonna have a lot of fun trying to follow that up. I'm just saying that. Plays it out there.
I mean, I like hugs, so it can help.
I mean, hey, you want me to give you an Eric hug? Let me give you an Eric. Yeah. Oh. Hey, don't worry. We automatically give our poets, okay. Just so you know, I'm going to give him a hug. But first, the order for the next round is Gypsy Danger, Angela, Penetration, then Eric. Gypsy Danger, go up. First, I got to give this guy a hug. Don't go for high, though. Huh? Don't go for high.
I didn't know if you all knew that. I didn't want the booty out. That's like the worst hug ever. When someone's like,
I'm gonna put you for hiring him.
Thank you. Yeah. Ah, oops. Sorry about that. I just stabbed one of my poets.
Don't record me.